Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and we've got some really fun stuff going on this week, and I want to take you through just a little bit of it so that you can follow along, because it's going to be a fun one. So the big project this week is the completion of Little Joe. This is a 1955 Jeep CJ that has been sitting for, we figured, about 38 years. We got it up and running, which you have hopefully seen in a previous video, and I have started the preservation process, trying to bring back a little bit of the original paint. If you look, I've done that passenger side, but the driver's side here remains to be done. So tomorrow, Jonathan, who is from the family of the owners of the Hotel Temecula and Little Joe the Jeep, he wants to do some hands-on here working on the project. So he's going to come out and I'm going to show him what to do as far as polishing up the passenger side or the driver's side of Little Joe. So I've started over here. Obviously, it's looking significantly better. You can see a lot of color on it. Not doing anything too heavy, as you've seen in the previous video. Just trying to clean and preserve and put a little natural wax on there so that it has a bit of a shine to it. A couple of other little repairs. I pulled the top off to clean that. And unfortunately, the material's real brittle, so we had a split back here, which I've now repaired with some material back behind it. You can see a little bit of that poking through where there was an old hole right there. And then I've got a seam that came apart right here, and I'm going to work on that this afternoon and see if I can close that gap up and support it from the backside as well so that it doesn't come apart. And that's one of the problems with stuff out here in California, in the desert especially. Soft materials tend to go bad, but the upside is that the metal stays solid, and this thing is absolutely rock solid. So other stuff I'm doing with Little Joe is chasing the history of it and looking through the artifacts and stuff that we found inside of it. So there's this fantastic old woolware canteen, an old camp stool, all sorts of tools, a great pick for prospecting, some old gloves that belong to the original owner, old glasses, personal effects, and also a whole bunch of fantastic paperwork that really track the history not only of Little Joe the Jeep, but of its original owner, Horace Parker. So this is the original 1955 State of California registration, and it shows Horace and Laverne Parker, and it shows that they actually financed it as well through First Western Bank in Santa Ana. This is super rad. I mean, this would be the first official piece of paperwork on that car, and along with it, we found a whole bunch of other past registrations. Not the complete set, but certainly the vast majority of them. This one's 58. All the way up to 1985 when it was parked in the barn behind the Hotel Temecula. Other fun stuff that I'm finding are things that show more of the history of Horace himself. So Horace grew up in the Temecula Valley. His dad worked for the railroad in the area. He ended up going to veterinary school. He started a vet practice in Balboa Island or Newport Beach area of Orange County. Found this old animal drug flyer here in the Jeep, kind of hinting towards his history there as a vet. There's all sorts of great old maps and books and things like that. A lot of stuff that is related to the area of Balboa Beach, Balboa Island, where he spent a lot of his time. And this Newport Balboa Press is where he got started with writing about his adventures through Anza Borrego Desert. And that ended up emerging into the Paisano Press that's put in here on the back of Little Joe. He had a Volkswagen bus that also had the Paisano Press logo on it. And this Anza Borrego Desert Guidebook is the biggest book that he put out. It was something that went into a couple of different printings. It's well prized and used by people that love to explore the Anza Borrego Desert. And inside that book, there are photos of Little Joe back in period roaming through the area. And that's super awesome to see. Other fun stuff that we found in the pile of paperwork. This is probably my favorite. This is the Hemet News from 1959, the 11th annual Jeep Cavalcade Rugged Test. So this Hemet Jeep Club has been around forever, it seems. And I'm not far from Hemet, where we're located here at the lab. And I still see a lot of Jeeps rolling around with that same logo with the goat driving along there, or their very active club out there. And this is a cool little early piece. Now, think about this for a second. This is March 1959, and down here, more than 400 vehicles and an estimated 1,200 participants in this rally. That's nuts. In 1959, can you imagine seeing 400 Jeeps? What? Totally nuts. That's a cool piece. It's a neat thing. Lots of articles and stuff in there on the events. Other fun stuff that I came across in there, there's this market map and guide from 1950, the Newport Harbor area. That was really awesome. Some of the business names and things that are in there are really cool. I had great joy with that. A couple of old Blackburn's maps there, Balboa Island plot map there, which is interesting to see. This is something here from a realty company, that map addressed to Horace Parker at his address there. And then, of course, we've got some old photos and stuff of little Joe out there in the wilderness driving and that sort of thing. So I'm going to put this all together in a nice little book so people that are interested can poke through it. And it'll also help preserve this paper so that it doesn't deteriorate or get lost or wet or blown in the wind or whatever. So the plan is to get little Joe here all cleaned up, running, driving, and we're going to display it this weekend in Temecula at the Temecula Rod Run. So if you're in the area for the Temecula Rod Run, which is a really large automotive event here in the Temecula Valley, come by the Hotel Temecula on Saturday and you will see little Joe on display, and we will probably bring a few more cars down as well. They're going to allow us to display a couple of cars there and kind of spread the love of what we're up to here at Carchaeology down there at the Temecula Rod Run. So little Joe is going to get further attention here this week. Tomorrow I will do another video that shows the process of that. I think we're also going to do a little work on one of the other cars in the lab and bring that out. There's some exciting news and opportunities ahead for our Mercedes, Anya Benz, as I call it. She is going to definitely get her day in the sun. The Pebble Beach Concours, well, that's not happening, but it got accepted to a very prestigious event, also up in Monterey, and I'll be telling you all about that and sharing that with you as well. And so we may fire this up tomorrow and get it out of the lab and go for a little spin as well. But in any case, that's what we're up to. Carchaeology here in the lab, working on a Jeep, cleaning stuff up, playing with history on wheels. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you don't, and keep on digging them up and driving them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.